Welcome back, everyone. Here, continuing my Week 1 NFL previews tonight. This video is for the game between the St. Louis Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. This game will take place in St. Louis, and as I began to break these two teams down, I see a lot of similarities. And we'll start on the defensive side of the ball for both teams. First and foremost, I think the secondary and the back end of these two defenses are very weak. You look at a team in the Rams, who I think has one of the best front sevens in the NFL, led by that defensive line with Robert Quinn, of course, Chris Long, the addition of Aaron Donald as a first-round pick, number 13 overall. Then, of course, you go to the Vikings, who signed Everson Griffin to that big contract. I think he's going to maybe not totally live up to that contract, but come pretty close. You have Brian Robeson at the other defensive end spot, a very underrated player in my opinion. And again, they had Linville Joseph in free agency, and they still have Sharif Floyd entering his second year now. And when you look at Mike Zimmer, when he was in Cincinnati, the way he sort of grew and cultivated that defensive line, I think that's going to be a definite strength of Minnesota. We know it's already a strength of the Rams. So which back end, which secondary can hold up against the other team's passing game? I think that's going to be important because I think whatever team establishes that passing game, they're going to open it up for their very good running backs. Adrian Peterson for the Minnesota Vikings and Zach Stacy of the St. Louis Rams. When I look at the Rams offense, obviously Shaun Hill starting at quarterback for the injured Sam Bradford, I don't buy into his weapons yet. The Rams have swung and tried to get receivers in the draft in the last 4 or 5 seasons. I'm not in on Brian Quick. I'm certainly not in. I'm all right on Stedman Bailey. I think Tavon Austin has potential with the right quarterback, but I don't look at this receiving core as a group that can carry a backup quarterback in Shaun Hill. And will Shaun Hill even be as good as Kellen Clemens was last year? I think what's forgotten with the Sam Bradford injury last year is I think the Rams got more than they even expected out of Kellen Clemens. From what you're hearing from the Rams front office, they think Shaun Hill's even better. So let's see if he can sort of live up to that here in Week 1. Again, against a suspect Minnesota back end. And on the flip side, I look for Minnesota to more be able to take advantage of a weak Rams secondary. I really like Cordero Patterson. If you don't know much about him, I think he's going to have much more of a formidable presence in the receiving game this year. They have Greg Jennings, who they signed to the big deal last year, and Kyle Rudolph got that big extension. One of the few teams the Vikings are who paid for what they feel is future performance this year with Kyle Rudolph with a big extension on the offensive side of the ball, and certainly, as I mentioned before, Everson Griffin on the defensive side of the ball. Norv Turner, with very limited talent at the quarterback position last year and a lot of unproven talent, at the receiver core with Josh Gordon and Jordan Cameron and the bunch there in Cleveland, really had them clicking to levels that they haven't reached in a long time there in Cleveland from an offensive yardage perspective. And I look for Matt Castle to be good enough to be able to really surprise some people. And you can't forget about Adrian Peterson, obviously, old reliable. I think they do enough in the passing game to open it up for Peterson. Remember, Peterson and Stacy in this particular game are going up against two formidable run defenses here, which is why I think in the end, whoever establishes that passing game is going to have a distinct advantage in this one, and I think that's going to be Minnesota. I know they're going on the road, but I'll take a down-the-field Norv Turner, let's challenge the secondary type of offense over a Brian Schottenheimer-led offense with a backup quarterback, and to me, a very average receiving core at best. But we'll see how this game pans out, but I definitely like Minnesota +4 in this game, and I like Minnesota, as I said, to win outright as well. Let me know what you guys think of Minnesota winning. I have Minnesota winning, and obviously +4. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, guys. Preview every game every week, and also cover a lot of the news elements here that break throughout the week in the NFL. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a great night.